Greetings, pilots and passengers. Today I have an article that is very eye-opening. Everything so far has been eye-opening, but we're stepping away from vaccines and we're taking a look at today the use of technology in terms of weaponry and microwave weaponry. So I have a Daily Mail article that says China used secret microwave pulse weapon to cook Indian soldiers alive and force them into retreat in Himalayan border battle. Electromagnetic weapons were allegedly used on disputed Himalayan border, and they cleared out Indian troops without violating a ban on gunfire. And it came weeks after soldiers fought with rocks and clubs in a deadly brawl. This article goes on to say Chinese troops used microwave weapons to force Indian soldiers to retreat by making them violently sick during a Himalayan standoff, a professor has claimed. The electromagnetic weapons, which cook the human tissue of enemy troops, turned the mountaintops into a microwave oven and made the Indian soldiers vomit, international studies expert Jin Kanrong told his students in Beijing. The microwave weapons heat water molecules in the same way as the kitchen appliance, targeting water under the skin and causing increasing amounts of pain to the target from ranges of up to 0.6 miles away. Now, when I read that, I got this article from What Really Happened, which is a really good site if you're looking for alternative news and a collection of alternative news articles and websites and things like that. But when I saw this article, it really stuck out because it's one of them things where we really don't know what sort of technology is available in the world, and this is one of them. You got to wonder, when people have access to, using microwaves at home to cook, it's like, well, the same can be used in weaponry, and it goes to show that apparently this is the case. And I think the scary thing is, how much of this technology and how much of this weaponry has actually been hidden from, public knowledge, from public view, and we have no idea that it exists. It goes on to say, Jin hailed the Chinese forces for beautifully executing the move which cleared out Indian troops without violating a ban on gunfire along the disputed border. It is the first known use of microwave weapons on a battlefield. So yeah, the first known. So this is allegedly the first time it's sort of been talked about in the news, or more mainstream news, so to speak. But it's going to be one of them things where it's been, it'll have existed for so long and have been used, so much over the years. But it's just not been talked about, it's not been covered, it's not been reported. People are just not made aware of it. According to the Times, the weapons were said to have been deployed in late August, weeks after a deadly brawl involving rocks and clubs, which killed at least 20 Indian soldiers and brought the two nuclear-armed powers closer to war than they have been in 53 years on one of the world's highest altitude battlefields. The so-called microwave weapon is called the WB1, and it's been displayed before in 2014, so it's like it exists, and it's clearly, I would say it's been used before. They're making it out that it's never been used before, but if this weaponry exists, it's not like it's just going to exist and people aren't going to use it. Jin told his students that within 15 minutes of the weapons being deployed, those occupying the hilltops all began to vomit. They couldn't stand up, so they fled. This was how he retook the ground, he explained. China's forces decided to use the weapons because the altitude was too high to fight against a team of Tibetan mountaineering specialists. Gunfire is banned under an old agreement, although there were warning shots in September, and they all blamed it both on each other. While the US has also developed microwave-style weapons, China's alleged use of them may be the first against enemy troops anywhere in the world. Maybe, allegedly. It's like multiple countries have this technology, and there's, that much warfare going on that we aren't aware of. I think the chances are it's been used before, it's nothing new. Also envisioned for use in crowd control, not terrifying whatsoever. The weapon works by heating the water under the skin to painful temperatures which force people out of the area, and the sensation is described as touching a hot light bulb. Overexposure to radiation can also cause headaches, nausea and vomiting. There is some suspicion that similar weapons were used against US diplomatic personnel who mysteriously fell ill in China and Cuba in a series of incidents beginning in 2016. So again, this whole thing, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but this whole thing where it's like they're saying it's the first known use on the battleground. It's like, well, first known, it's probably been used many a time before by US, China, all kinds of countries, that this technology is going to have existed for quite a long time. And America's equivalent is a heat ray, the active denial system, which was unveiled in 2007 and deployed to Afghanistan, but apparently was never used. Apparently, allegedly. The Pentagon said it was the first non-lethal directed energy counter-personnel system with an extended range greater than currently fielded non-lethal weapons. The news of the alleged use in the Himalayas comes as China and India discuss ways to de-escalate tensions. The rest of the article goes on to say both sides are now trying to find a way to disengage each other and stand down, and it's being discussed on both sides. The whole point of this article that I wanted to talk about here was the use of, technology and weaponry that the public aren't sort of made aware of. Again, it's something else that's sort of hidden away from the public. I think the public sort of assume that when it comes to warfare, people just go in with guns and, rockets and missiles and what have you, really sort of low-grade technology, I guess you'd call it. The reality is there's a lot of technology out there that we just don't know exists or isn't really covered. And again, it's one of them things that's just sort of completely skipped over by the mainstream news. And unless you sort of go out your way to look for it, you won't really come across it, because you just don't know. I think the scary thing of it as well is the mention of the use of crowd control. The first thing that came to my mind there is, peaceful protests, when people go out to protest things in a peaceful manner. Imagine that sort of being used against the people. It's one thing using it in warfare, and then there's, the use of it against, people who haven't done anything wrong, or gatherings and such. It's quite scary to know that it could be used against, people like you and me and just everyday people who are just being targeted. The potential there is quite scary. It just goes to show what is out there, what exists, and then you have to wonder, well, if that exists, what else? What other technology do they have? What other technology does our military have? This is Editing Emily here, and I was trying to find some sources and some images to use in this video, and I actually came across an article by YO News, I think it's called, and it says India-China standoff microwave oven weapon, goes on about the use of this microwave weaponry allegedly, by China, was fake news apparently. The thing I have with this is I'm pretty sure this news website is associated with India or originates in India somewhat. So it's one of the things where it could be that India just not wanting to admit that it is true and it was the case, but I'm not too sure. I'm not going to go too detailed into the article. It basically says China's at it again, spreading fake news. China first lied about coronavirus, lied about its origin, and now it's lying about the situation regarding the warfare, lying about how many Chinese troops have died, lying about the battles and all this. And it's basically saying that they have now lied about the use of microwave weaponry. Yet the professor, again, he said back in August 29, 2020, that the Chinese forces used the microwave weapon, which caused the Indian army troops to vomit and such. And then the Indian army actually came out and said, this is a load of rubbish. All of the media reports on it are completely fake. It was never used. And they're saying that fake news stories lack details, and this one is no exception. The Chinese fairy tale was reported by British publication, so again, it'll be the Daily Mail article they're on about there. And it's already been called out by the Indian Army that it's fake, and it's been fact-checked, so it's rubbish. Move on, don't bother thinking about it. The fact is there's no such microwave weapon that has ever been used against India, but China's using it apparently to cook up more than just food. It's like, this is, there's a couple of articles that have said it's fake, and they are all from, news websites which originate from India. I'm not going to go out and say, yes, it's true, yes, it's fake, but it's one of them things where I'm just going to look at it from the point of view of, if this is the case, that these microwave weapons were used, what else is there that exists? That is my stance on this. I also sort of think when I see the words fact check, usually it's just you know, we're going to cover it up as if it never happened sort of thing. That's my stance on fact checking. But please let me know what you think, because you don't really know what to think. So let me know what you think, if you think this story's fake or if it's true. China's making it up. India's making it up. India's trying to cover it up. Let me know. Anyways, let me know what you think about this down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this technology and the microwave weapons and China's use of it as well. I'd like to say that if you'd like to support the channel, please subscribe to Dare to Fly today and get ready to take flight. Turn on notifications so you get notified every time I upload a video. Like and share this video with others. You can also support Dare to Fly even further by buying me some rocket fuel on my Ko-fi page via a one-off donation. Or you can also support me via donations through my PayPal, and links to both of those will be down in the description box. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at daretofly777 to stay in touch with me and we can retweet each other. Good times. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, stay awake, stay true to yourself, and as always, fly high, fear less.